What if the most dominant weapon in the sky was never actually used to its full potential? What if the country that built it decided it was too dangerous not for enemies, but for allies? This is the story of a fighter jet so advanced that America looked its closest friends in the eye and said, "You can't have it. Not now, not ever." This is the F-22 Raptor, and the real story isn't how it flies, it's why it stays grounded. The Cold War never really ended in the sky. While diplomats shook hands and walls came down, the U.S. Air Force was quietly watching Soviet aircraft evolve. The Su-27, the MiG-29, jets that were closing the gap on America's air superiority faster than anyone wanted to admit publicly. The F-15 Eagle had ruled the skies since the 1970s, a near-perfect air superiority fighter with a combat record of 104 kills and 0 losses. But Pentagon planners knew that record wouldn't survive the next generation of Soviet fighters. They needed something that didn't just beat the enemy, something that made the fight unfair before it even started. In 1981, the Advanced Tactical Fighter program was born. The mission was simple and terrifying in its ambition. Build a jet that couldn't be seen, couldn't be caught, and couldn't be beaten in a fight. Not a better fighter, a different category of fighter entirely. Lockheed, Boeing, and General Dynamics won the contract. And after more than a decade of development and over $66 billion, what they delivered shocked even the people who commissioned it. Let's be precise about why this jet is in a category of its own. The F-22 is the world's first operational fifth-generation fighter, which means it doesn't just do one thing exceptionally well. It does everything exceptionally well simultaneously. The Raptor's radar cross-section, the signal it reflects back to enemy radar, is roughly the size of a marble. For comparison, the F-15 it was designed to replace reflects a signal the size of a barn door. Enemy radar systems don't see the F-22 approaching. They see noise, then they see damage. Supercruise. Most fighter jets need to burn enormous amounts of fuel in afterburner to break the sound barrier. The F-22 cruises at Mach 1.5, faster than the speed of sound, without afterburner. That means it can sustain supersonic flight indefinitely, arriving faster, engaging sooner, and leaving before the enemy has time to respond. The Raptor's engines don't just push it forward, they can redirect thrust to point the nose of the aircraft in directions that defy conventional aerodynamics. In a dogfight, it can execute maneuvers that physically shouldn't be possible. It can point at you before you can point at it. In close-range combat, that's the difference between life and death. Sensor fusion. The F-22 doesn't just collect information, as it synthesizes it. Radar, infrared, electronic signals, data from other aircraft, all fused into a single clear picture that gives the pilot a level of situational awareness no other jet in the world can match. And everything, every missile, every bomb, is carried internally. No external pylons disrupting its stealth profile. It's invisible right up until the moment the weapons bay doors open, and it isn't. The F-22 doesn't compete with other fighters, it hunts them. Word travels fast in defense circles. And when America's allies got a close look at what the Raptor could do, the requests started coming in almost immediately. Israel wanted it, a nation surrounded by adversaries facing increasingly sophisticated air defense systems from Iran and Syria. The IDF saw the Raptor as a generational leap in capability. They pushed hard. The answer was no. Japan wanted it. With China's Air Force modernizing at speed and North Korea's unpredictability growing, Japan saw the F-22 as the only credible deterrent. They didn't just ask, they lobbied for years, offering to pay premium prices and even proposed joint maintenance arrangements to sweeten the deal. The answer was no. Australia wanted it. A key Five Eyes partner deeply embedded in U.S. intelligence and military cooperation, a nation that has fought alongside America in every major conflict for a century. They made their case clearly and compellingly. The answer was still no. In 1998, Congress removed any ambiguity. They didn't just decline requests, they passed the Obey Amendment, a law that made it explicitly illegal to export the F-22 Raptor to any foreign nation. Not restricted, not subject to presidential approval, illegal. The door wasn't just closed, it was welded shut. To understand why, you have to understand what the F-22 actually contains. The stealth isn't just in the shape of the aircraft, though the angles and geometry are engineered with extraordinary precision to deflect radar waves. The stealth is in the materials, the coatings, the exact composition of the radar-absorbent material on the airframe surface. These aren't specifications you find in a technical manual. They are among the most tightly guarded manufacturing secrets in American defense history. The radar, the AN/APG-77, operates in a way that is still classified in significant detail. Its ability to detect, track, and engage targets while remaining essentially invisible to enemy radar warning systems is something no other operational aircraft in the world can match. Sharing it would mean explaining how it works, and explaining how it works would tell adversaries exactly what they need to defeat it. Then there's the software, the F-22's flight control system, its sensor fusion architecture, the electronic warfare suite. These aren't components you can simply remove and replace with a downgraded version without fundamentally changing what the aircraft is, and the US had learned hard lessons about what happens when advanced technology leaves its hands. Iran still operates F-14 Tomcats, aircraft sold to the Shah's government before the 1979 revolution that brought an adversarial regime to power overnight. Venezuela flies American-made F-16S. China's J-10 fighter is widely believed to incorporate technology that originated in U.S. programs, traveled through back channels, and emerged in Beijing wearing different colors. The Raptor was too valuable, too singular, and too irreplaceable to risk those scenarios. Even with the closest allies, the calculus was the same. The threat of technology compromise outweighed the value of the sale. Here's what turned concern into absolute certainty. In 2009, the Wall Street Journal reported that hackers, traced to sources in China, had penetrated contractors' computer systems and accessed terabytes of data related to the F-35 program. Specifically, information about the aircraft's exhaust systems and radar signature. Precisely the kind of data that could help an adversary build countermeasures. In 2015, a U.S. Air Force officer was investigated for passing sensitive information related to military technology, and the F-22 itself had been flagged in intelligence assessments as a high-priority target for foreign intelligence collection, specifically from China and Russia. The Pentagon had spent decades and tens of billions of dollars building a technological advantage in the sky. The last thing they were going to do was hand any piece of it to a sales partner who might not be able to protect it. Because in modern espionage, you don't have to steal the jet. You just have to steal enough of the blueprint to understand how to beat it. There's a deep irony at the center of the F-22 story. The aircraft was designed to dominate peer adversaries in high-intensity air warfare, to establish air superiority against sophisticated enemies with advanced jets and integrated air defense networks. It was built for a war against the Soviet Union or China or some future great power adversary. Instead, it entered service in a world defined by Iraq and Afghanistan, counterinsurgency, cave networks, roadside bombs, enemies who had no air force and no radar. The most advanced air superiority fighter ever built was flying missions in airspace that was already completely uncontested. It was, as one commentator noted at the time, a Ferrari at a tractor pull. The Pentagon needed surveillance drones that could loiter for 20 hours over a village. They needed AC-130 gunships and Apache helicopters and signals intelligence platforms. The unique capabilities of the Raptor, supercruise, thrust vectoring, stealth against peer radar systems, were simply irrelevant to the wars being fought. And while the Raptor waited for the war it was designed for, the budget conversation changed entirely. The original procurement plan called for 750 F-22s. enough to form a genuine strategic force capable of establishing air dominance across multiple theaters simultaneously. Then the Cold War ended. Then, September 11th changed defense priorities entirely. Then the F-35 program emerged as a cheaper, more versatile, export-friendly alternative that allies could actually buy. With every budget cycle, the Raptor's numbers were cut. 750 became 648, then 438, then 339, then 243. And finally, in 2009, Robert Gates, then Secretary of Defense, drew the line at 187. Congress agreed. The production line closed. Today, only 186 operational F-22s exist. The tooling is gone. The production infrastructure has been dismantled. If America wanted to build more tomorrow, it couldn't. Not without years of reconstruction and billions in investment to restart a manufacturing process that no longer exists. And of those 186, only a fraction are mission-ready at any given time. Each flight hour is increasingly precious. Spare parts are scarce. The aircraft is being sustained, not expanded. And the F-35, the jet designed partly to complement the Raptor, has effectively replaced it in strategic planning. What makes the F-22 story genuinely strange is that it succeeded completely at everything it was designed to do. And that success became the very reason it was held back. No other air force in the world has produced a credible answer to the Raptor. Russia's Su-57, China's J-20, both fifth-generation designs developed partly in response to the F-22's emergence, remain operationally behind in key areas, particularly stealth coding technology and sensor fusion. The Raptor forced adversaries to spend decades chasing a standard they still haven't fully reached. But America's closest allies, nations that share intelligence, that fight in the same coalitions, that bleed in the same conflicts, were left to buy second-tier alternatives, while the one aircraft that could have truly changed their strategic calculus sat behind a legal wall. The F-22 Raptor is now quietly fading, not defeated, not replaced by something better, just aging, unsupported, a product of a moment in history that passed before the aircraft ever got to define it. It was too dangerous to share, too advanced to risk, too singular to replicate, and too early or too late for the wars that actually got fought. The greatest fighter jet America ever built, and the one the world never got to fly. What do you think? Was keeping the F-22 secret the right call, or did America make a mistake locking out its allies? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories about the aircraft that changed history, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.